I couldn't help but notice how carefully my mother had set the table. It was only when something big was coming that she did this. The good plates, the heavier glasses, and the small mint bowl she always placed in the center even though no one ever touched it. It made the dinner feel important. Then my brother walked in 20 minutes late, just like always. It was part of the ritual. He always made it seem like the evening couldn't start without him. He kissed our mother on the cheek, slapped our father on the back, and took his seat with a casual confidence like the room belonged to him. I sat across from him, but he barely looked at me. That was how it had always been. I was a bit of an afterthought, somewhere between the younger sibling and background noise. The conversation rolled along slowly, just the usual stuff: work, traffic, the neighbor's new car. My brother answered all the questions smoothly, like he'd been rehearsing. Then he paused, set his fork down, and leaned back in his chair. "Well," he said, "I guess it's time to tell everyone the real reason we're here." Our mother smiled wider before he even finished his sentence. "I'm the new regional director." And there it was. My father let out a short whistle and shook his head with pride. My mother smiled, probably already knowing before any of us. My aunt murmured something about how proud the family must be. My brother raised his glass. To progress. Everyone clinked their glasses with him. Everyone except me. It wasn't intentional. I just hadn't moved yet. I watched the moment pass, like watching a scene unfold that I'd seen too many times before. My brother finally noticed my stillness and turned his attention toward me. His smile wasn't warm. "You hear that?" he asked. I did. He nodded, satisfied, then added a line that made the table go silent for a second. "I'm the new regional director," he said casually, "and you're still nothing." Some people laughed, the kind of laughter that comes before anyone really decides if something is funny. My mother shifted in her seat. My father took a sip of water and stared at his plate. No one said a word. They never did. I smiled, not because his comment didn't land, but because the timing was perfect. The day before had been long, 4 hours in a quiet office downtown, with 2 lawyers, a financial advisor, and a man who had started a company 2 decades ago, but was now tired of it all. The paperwork was thick, signatures slow and deliberate. By the time I walked out of that building, the company had a new owner. Me. I hadn't told anyone. There hadn't been a reason. Until now. My brother, meanwhile, had moved on. He was explaining how the company was entering a new phase, how leadership was finally aligning, how the promotion meant he'd be responsible for multiple offices. He spoke like the structure around him was solid and permanent. I listened as he outlined plans for a company that, as of yesterday, required my approval. It didn't feel like revenge. If anything, it felt strangely distant, like watching someone confidently navigate a map that had just been redrawn. Halfway through his explanation, my phone vibrated quietly in my pocket. I checked it under the table. A message from Daniel, one of the lawyers. "Public announcement scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow, all confirmed." I locked my phone and set it beside my plate. My brother was still talking. "And honestly," he glanced at me, "it's about time someone in the family ran things at a serious level." He said it lightly, but the message beneath was clear. I let the silence hang in the air for a moment. Then I spoke. "Actually," I said, calm as ever. He stopped mid-sentence. The room leaned toward my voice, the way a room does when the quiet one finally speaks up. "Actually," I repeated, "you're not." He frowned slightly. "Not what?" "The one running things." He blinked, confused. "I literally am. They announced it this morning." "I know." The silence stretched, just long enough for everyone to feel it. Then I dropped the bomb. "I bought the company yesterday." No one spoke. For a moment, the words seemed to hang in the air, not landing anywhere. My brother stared at me, like he was trying to understand a sentence in a language he almost knew. "What?" "The ownership changed yesterday afternoon," I said. "It'll be public tomorrow morning." My father leaned forward, his voice a bit shaky. "You're serious?" I nodded. My brother's face shifted through a few expressions: disbelief, verification, then something more cautious. You're saying, he started, you own the company? Yes. He leaned back, recalculating. The promotion hadn't disappeared, but his meaning had definitely changed. Around us, the family sat in stunned silence, unsure of how to react. My brother rubbed his chin. So, he said, taking his time, technically, yes. He let out a short breath that almost turned into a laugh. Well, he said, that's unexpected. I nodded again. No speeches followed, no dramatic explanations. The papers existed, whether anyone liked them or not. Dinner went on, but the mood had shifted. Later, as the plates were cleared, my brother asked about the acquisition. It was the first time he'd asked me something work-related. I answered simply with no theatrics. When the evening came to an end, we all stood by the front door, exchanging the usual goodbyes. My brother reached the door first, pulled it open, and then stepped aside. A small gesture. Maybe automatic, maybe not. I walked past him into the cool night air. For years, I had wondered what it would feel like if the balance between us ever changed. I thought it would feel louder, more dramatic. But it didn't. It felt quiet, like the room had shifted a few inches, and everyone was still figuring out where to stand.